Your brain is shrinking right now. Every single day, the average adult loses thousands of brain cells, neural pathways weaken, and cognitive abilities decline. But what if I told you that neuroscience has discovered 5 specific exercises that can actually reverse this process? These aren't complex techniques requiring expensive equipment or hours of your time. They're simple, scientifically validated methods that can literally rewire your brain, create new neural connections, and restore the mental sharpness you thought was gone forever. The most powerful one takes less than 5 minutes and has been proven to increase brain volume in just 8 weeks. Right now, your brain is either growing or dying. There is no maintenance mode. Every thought you think, every action you take is actively shaping your neural architecture. The question isn't whether your brain will change, it's whether you'll direct that change or let it happen by default. What you're about to discover has been validated by neuroscientists at Harvard, MIT, and leading research institutions around the world. These 5 exercises tap into neuroplasticity, your brain's remarkable ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections throughout your entire life. If you're ready to take control of your cognitive future and unlock mental capacities you didn't know you had, then hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. Drop a like on this video because what I'm about to share could be the most important information you hear this year. Let's begin. The challenge we face today is unprecedented in human history. Our brains evolved over millions of years to handle specific tasks like hunting, gathering, and navigating social relationships within small tribes. But modern life bombards us with information overload, constant digital stimulation, chronic stress, and sedentary lifestyles that our neural architecture simply wasn't designed to handle. The result is an epidemic of brain fog, declining memory, shortened attention spans, and cognitive decline starting earlier than ever before. People in their 30s and 40s are experiencing memory problems that previous generations didn't encounter until their 70s. But here's the remarkable truth that neuroscience has uncovered. Your brain possesses an almost miraculous capacity for regeneration and growth, regardless of your age. This isn't motivational talk, it's biological fact. Studies using brain imaging technology have shown that specific activities can trigger neurogenesis, the creation of brand new brain cells, particularly in the hippocampus, the region responsible for learning and memory. Other research has demonstrated that targeted mental and physical exercises can increase brain-derived neurotrophic factor, a protein that acts like fertilizer for your brain cells, helping them grow, strengthen, and form new connections. The first exercise is dual in-back training, and it's one of the most scientifically validated methods for increasing fluid intelligence, your ability to solve new problems and think abstractly. Here's why it's so powerful. Fluid intelligence was long considered fixed, something you were born with that couldn't be improved. But research published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences shattered that assumption. Scientists discovered that dual in-back training could actually increase fluid intelligence in a dose-dependent manner, meaning the more you practiced, the more your intelligence increased. The exercise involves remembering sequences of stimuli, both visual and auditory, presented simultaneously. You might see a square appearing in different positions on a grid while hearing letters spoken at the same time. Your task is to remember where the square appeared and which letter was spoken a certain number of steps back in the sequence. What makes this so effective is that it forces your brain to constantly update working memory, the mental workspace where you manipulate information. This intense demand strengthens the prefrontal cortex and increases connectivity between brain regions. Studies show that just 25 minutes of dual in-back training per day for 20 days can produce measurable improvements in cognitive function. The second exercise is deliberate learning of genuinely new skills, but not in the way most people approach it. Jim Quick, one of the world's leading experts on accelerated learning and brain performance, emphasizes that your brain grows most when you're struggling at the edge of your current abilities. This is called the learning zone, that sweet spot between comfort and overwhelm where your brain is forced to create new neural pathways. The key word here is deliberate. Passive consumption of information produces minimal neuroplastic change, but actively engaging with challenging new material, making mistakes, correcting them, and gradually improving creates massive neural growth. Research on London taxi drivers provides fascinating evidence for this. Studies using MRI scans found that these drivers, who must memorize the incredibly complex layout of London's 25,000 streets, have significantly larger hippocampi than average. What's more remarkable is that this growth occurred through training, not genetics. When researchers compared trainee taxi drivers before and after their intensive studying period, they found measurable increases in hippocampal volume directly correlated with how much navigation knowledge they acquired. The specific skill you choose matters less than how you approach it. Learning a musical instrument, a new language, complex dance moves, or advanced mathematics all produce similar benefits. The critical factor is that the skill must be genuinely challenging for you and require sustained effort over time. Spending 15 to 30 minutes daily in this deliberate learning zone produces far greater cognitive benefits than hours of passive mental activity. Your brain responds to challenge the way muscles respond to resistance training. The third exercise will surprise you because it involves the body, not just the mind, yet its impact on brain health is profound. Aerobic exercise, particularly sustained cardiovascular activity, is perhaps the single most powerful intervention for brain health that science has discovered. This isn't about building muscles or losing weight. This is about fundamentally changing your brain's biology at the cellular level. When you engage in aerobic exercise, your body increases production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor by as much as 300%. Exercise also increases blood flow to the brain, delivering more oxygen and nutrients to neural tissue. It reduces inflammation, a key contributor to cognitive decline. It improves sleep quality, which is when your brain consolidates memories and clears out metabolic waste. The research on this is overwhelming. A landmark study published in the journal Neurology followed more than 1,600 people over 25 years and found that those who maintained regular aerobic exercise showed significantly less cognitive decline and brain atrophy as they aged. Another study at the University of British Columbia found that regular aerobic exercise increased the size of the hippocampus in older women, while resistance training did not produce the same effect. How much exercise do you need? Research suggests that 30 minutes of moderate aerobic activity, like brisk walking, jogging, cycling, or swimming, at least 5 days per week produces optimal cognitive benefits. The intensity should be enough to elevate your heart rate and make you slightly breathless but still able to hold a conversation. Consistency matters more than intensity. The neuroplastic changes from exercise accumulate over time, with benefits becoming more pronounced after several weeks of consistent practice. The fourth exercise is meditation, specifically focused attention meditation, and the neuroscience behind its brain-changing effects is remarkable. A groundbreaking study at Harvard Medical School used MRI scans to examine the brains of people who completed an 8-week mindfulness meditation program, practicing just 27 minutes per day. The results showed measurable increases in gray matter density in several brain regions, including the hippocampus and areas involved in self-awareness. Just as striking, participants showed decreased gray matter in the amygdala, the brain's fear and stress center, and they reported corresponding reductions in stress levels. Meditation works by training attention, the fundamental cognitive skill underlying almost everything your brain does. In our modern world, attention has become fragmented and reactive. This scattered attention actually changes your brain, weakening networks involved in sustained focus. Meditation reverses this process. By repeatedly bringing your attention back to a single focus point, whether it's your breath, a sound, or a sensation, you're strengthening attentional control networks in the prefrontal cortex. The practice itself is simple but not easy. Sit comfortably with your spine relatively straight. Close your eyes or lower your gaze. Bring your attention to the sensation of breathing. Your mind will wander constantly at first. When you notice your attention has drifted, gently bring it back to the breath without judgment. Each time you bring your focus back is like a repetition in the gym, building stronger neural networks for sustained attention. The fifth exercise involves something humans have done since the beginning of our species, but that modern life has largely eliminated: face-to-face social interaction and deep conversation. When you engage in genuine conversation, Your brain must simultaneously process language, read facial expressions, infer mental states, retrieve memories, formulate responses, and navigate complex social dynamics. This multifaceted cognitive demand activates virtually your entire brain. Research published in the American Journal of Public Health followed nearly 12,000 adults and found that those with strong social connections showed significantly slower rates of cognitive decline compared to socially isolated individuals. Brain imaging studies have shown that meaningful social interaction activates reward centers in the brain, reduces inflammation, and stimulates the release of oxytocin, a neurochemical that enhances neuroplasticity. But here's the critical distinction. Not all social contact produces these benefits. Superficial interactions or digital communication don't engage the brain in the same way. What matters is authentic face-to-face interaction involving emotional exchange, active listening, and genuine connection. The epidemic of loneliness in modern society isn't just an emotional problem, it's a cognitive crisis. Chronic loneliness increases inflammation, disrupts sleep, and accelerates cognitive decline. Making social engagement a deliberate practice requires intentionality. This means scheduling regular time with friends or family, joining groups centered around shared interests, or simply having meaningful conversations without phones or screens. The cognitive benefits compound over time as social skills strengthen and relationships deepen. Now, here's what brings all 5 of these exercises together into something more powerful than any single practice alone. The brain operates as an integrated system. When you combine multiple neuroplastic interventions, the effects synergize. Aerobic exercise increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which makes your brain more responsive to learning. Meditation improves focus, which makes all other cognitive exercises more effective. Social engagement provides emotional support that helps maintain consistency with challenging practices. The real key to brain rejuvenation isn't finding the one perfect exercise, but building a lifestyle that consistently challenges your brain in diverse ways. Your neural architecture reflects your habitual patterns. If those patterns involve passive consumption and mental comfort zones, your brain will optimize for those conditions. But if your daily patterns include physical activity, mental challenge, focused attention, and meaningful social connection, your brain will grow stronger and more capable, regardless of your age. The science is unequivocal on this point. The old model of inevitable cognitive decline has been completely overturned. Researchers have documented cases of people in their 70s and 80s showing cognitive improvements through consistent practice of these interventions. The determining factor isn't genetics or age, but rather the presence or absence of conditions that support neuroplasticity. What separates people who successfully integrate these practices from those who don't isn't willpower, but rather systems and environment. Relying on willpower alone fails because it's a limited resource. Instead, successful implementation requires removing friction and creating structures that make beneficial behaviors easier. This might mean laying out exercise clothes the night before, setting a daily meditation alarm, or scheduling weekly social time in your calendar as non-negotiable appointments. Start with one exercise and build from there. Trying to implement all 5 simultaneously often leads to overwhelm. Choose the practice that resonates most strongly or addresses your biggest current challenge. Commit to it daily for at least 30 days until it becomes genuinely habitual. Only then add another practice. This gradual approach allows each new behavior to become integrated before adding the next challenge. The transformation that's possible through consistent practice extends far beyond simply maintaining cognitive function. People report experiencing greater mental clarity, improved emotional regulation, enhanced creativity, and deeper relationships. They describe feeling like they've awakened parts of themselves that had been dormant for years. This is the natural result of providing your brain with the conditions it needs to thrive. Your brain contains approximately 86 billion neurons, each capable of forming thousands of connections. The potential complexity of your neural networks is almost incomprehensible. Yet most people operate with only a fraction of this potential activated. These 5 exercises offer you a practical pathway to access more of your brain's vast potential through consistent application of evidence-based principles that trigger your brain's innate capacity for growth. If you found this information valuable and want to continue learning about evidence-based approaches to cognitive enhancement, make sure you're subscribed to this channel and hit the notification bell. Leave a like on this video to help others discover this content. The question that matters most isn't whether these exercises work. The science clearly shows they do, but whether you'll apply them. Knowledge without application changes nothing. Your future cognitive abilities, your mental sharpness at 70 or 80, your capacity to learn and adapt, all of that is being determined by what you do today and tomorrow and the day after that. Every day is either building the brain you want or allowing the one you don't want to take shape by default. The choice belongs entirely to you.